Good morning, Rahul here. So, the most important thing we are discussing about the simple things is nothing but simplification. Now we are in SAP S/4HANA, simplification of core data, and the second one is simplification model. Simplification of the core data, and the second one is going to be called as simplification. Okay, so simplification data model. These are the two very important things we need to be ever in the SAP. We have to remember this. So simplification core data, we have seen that now. Okay, so the coding has become very easy now from the technical point of view, because we don't have these aggregates and the index. And now last class also, when I go back to your last class, I told about the screen. I showed the screen and I explained to you about how this aggregation and indexes are removed. Now it is completely on the fly, utilizing the core data services, everything. Now, when I go into the SAP here, this is what exactly we discussed in the last class, which is called as a non-disruptiveness process. When you come to the core application wise, okay, now the DB objects are not going to be required. Any DB objects, database objects are not going to be required on the top of your database tables. This is very good important screen actually. So whatever the custom program you have written, what are the custom code you have written, so when the select statement is executed, it will go to the tables. It will be going to the tables which are no more available in SAP S/4HANA, because these tables have been removed and they have been moved as a compatibility view. Now the select statement will go and check for this table. Automatically in the back end, what is happening, the select statement will redirect it to the compatibility view. The coding has been automatically updated with the redirecting option, and it will go to the compatibility view. Now all the compatibility view tables are utilizing the data from the underlying database table. So here in this example, I have given it as a universal general entry table, but it can be anything. For example, now, when I go to one program, logical program, for example, when I go to GL balance report, for example, GL balance report, this is a Z report. Actually, we call it as a Z report now. Okay. Now, this report will extract the data from the underlying database table. For example, it is extracting from the two tables. Okay. So it will be okay. I have written the logic based on the two tables. One is going to be called as header table, which we call it as a BKPF. Another one is going to be calling it as a BSEC. BSEC, we call it as a line item level table. And on the top of this table, we have so many aggregates and the indexes. Okay, now we have see so many aggregate tables on the top of your database tables, and in the between we have some indexes tables like this. Okay, between we have indexes. This is called as a BSIS, BSIK, BSID. These are the tables which we have over here. Okay, yeah. So now what the SAP is telling now, today onwards, so whatever the underlying database tables which are going to be updated, now these indexes are no more available in SAP S/4HANA. Now the index and aggregates are no more available. Means what is the SAP is telling that now whatever the tables, like for example BSIS, it is called as the index tables. Okay, FAGL, FLE, XT, this is called as the total tables. FAGLFLEXA, this is called as actual tables. Now GLTO, this is called as balance report table. Okay, so like this, we have so many index and aggregate tables which we built on the top of your database tables actually to improve the performance. Okay, now in this today environment of SAP, as we discussed in the last class, we don't have this aggregation, but still I can execute this GL balance report by using of the CDS view, by using of this compatibility view. Now, all this indexes table, for example, if I go to the BSIS originally it is called as, okay, BSIS originally it is going to be called as, and it is going to be called as an index table. Actually, we call the BSIS as an index table, like BSIS. We have so many tables are there. BSIS, BSID, BSIK, BSAD. These all are something like example. We call it as an index table, which are built on the top of your database table. Now, if I go into the SAP now, very important class today. Today is going to be the very important class. Just I'm changing the logic to. Now I'll open the ECC and I compare with my SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so let me see the ECC table earlier, how this table structure look like. Now, when I come to the SAP ECC system, so the transaction code I'm going to be using called as SE11. SE11 is the transaction code to see the database tables actually. Okay, so this is called a SAP data dictionary. We call it as the SAP data dictionary. When I press enter, now here I'm giving the same table, which we call it as a BSID or BSIS, whatever the table which is no more available. Okay, so this is SAP ECC, not in SAP S/4HANA. Now I'm comparing the logic between the SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA. Now, earlier I told that these tables are available as a top of indexes and aggregates on the top of your underlying database table. These two are going to be the underlying database tables. And on the top, we have this index and aggregate tables now. Okay, let me go and see one index table. Okay, that is called as the BSIS. Now I'm giving this table over here. So I'll just make it as the caps. Okay. So I'm giving this table over here, which is called as a database table. Now I'm clicking on the display. When I click on the display here, I see this table is much more active table. We can see here this table is much more active table in SAP ECC. And when I go to the technical settings here, this is what exactly we call it as the technical settings. And this, okay, there are the technical settings are there, which is going to be calling it as a columnar storage, which we call it as a columnar storage. Now this table is much more active. I don't have any problem in SAP ECC. If I click on the indexes also, I see all the indexes are going to be aggregated. So indexes for the line item axis. This is called as the index table. Actually, we call it as the index table for the line item axis. What do you mean by line items? Line items are nothing but debit and credits. How many debits are there? How many credits are? These are going to be called as the line item axis based on the company code, document number, fiscal year, financial year. And document number is nothing but your OCHA number. For example, if I'm posting a transaction, called as travel expenses account is getting debited, and my cash or bank account, will be get credited. This is my transaction. So in this transaction, there are two line items are there. One is called as a debit line item, another one is called as a credit line item here. So when I posted this transaction in SAP, a document will be created. So document is nothing but a OCHA, document number 1 was posted. Okay, so we have created one document for the above transaction. We have created one. If I open this document, I see there are two line items. One is the travel expenses, which is getting debited, and the cash expense, cash or bank account, which is a balance sheet account, which is getting credited. Now these are the two line items, debit line item and the credit line items are there. Now, in which year you have posted this transaction? This transaction I have posted in the year of 2019. 2019 is the year, financial year. Okay. Now, if I see here, so this is what exactly I can see at the indexes. So when you come to the indexes over here, this is my index table for the line item axis. So where these indexes will be available, these indexes are constructed on the top of your BSEC table. So it will take all the line items. So let us assume that. Now let me remove this and I'll make it as a clear picture. Now for 1 minute example, 1 minute. Now let me remove this. Now on the top of your database table, so these are what these are exactly we call it as the index table. Now this index table is going to be called as BSIS. Normally we call it as a BSIS. Yes, Yes, this is the BSIS table. We call it as a BSIS table. This BSIS table will extract the line items from where this BSIS table is on the top of your BSEC table. BSEC table is very, very important, which is the line item level table for all the FI documents. So when I am executing the query, the BSIS table will trigger the line items from where the underlying database table, which is going to be calling it as the BSEC. BSEC is the most important table in SAP FI. Now, this is what exactly I'm explaining. So it is the index for the line item axis. The line item axis are going to be extracted from where? The line item axis are extracted from the BSIS table. Now, once it has received the line items, okay, what it is going to do? So it will get aggregate and it will form a report and it will give the report to you, which is going to be calling it as the GL balance report. We call it as the GL balance report. Now, when I come with the same table, very, very important. When I come with the same table here, so let me come back. This is in SAP ECC. I'm not talking about in SAP S4HANA. This is in SAP ECC. Now, these are the fields which are available. These are the field names. Okay, if I open the table contains the client number, company code, okay, general ledger account, which general ledger, what is the clearing date, what is the financial year, what is the document number. These are the fields which are available in this particular table, where we are going to be seeing the data over here. Now, I'll be logging to the SAP S4HANA now for 1909. Now I'm logging to the SAP S4HANA. Now the same SC11 is the transaction code I'm going to be using. My dear friends, I am going to be requesting the SAP user access for all of you by today, end of the day. So you might get the SAP access by this Friday. Most probably by Thursday or Friday, you will be getting the access to the SAP. So I'm requesting to all of you so that access has to be released. And more important here is nothing but, so from next week onwards, we are going to start some assignments in SAP. So directly I'm giving some assignments. You have to explain what exactly I'm asking the question in SAP, not in a written format. So that I'm going to ask you some questions in that. So I'm going to pick any one of them from the class, and I'm asking them to explain what is exactly this transaction, what is the importance of this table and everything. So you have to explain to me. If not, let me know that the question will be passed to another consultant in our class. So in this way, the most effective and effectiveness classes are going to be conducted from my side. So from next week, we will start this kind of assignments, and there will be written also. So the written will be very less, more into the practicals. Now I'm coming to the SAP S4HANA. I'm coming to the SAP S4HANA. Now the same table, BSIS table, I'm giving in SAP S4HANA. Now you can find the difference here now. Now you can find the difference. Now we are in SAP S4HANA. When I click on the display, now here you can see here. Now this is active table in a form of view table. This is the view. This is not the actual. This is called as a view table, DDL SQL view. Data, definition, query language view. We call it as data, definition, language, SQL, structured query language view. Means this has been moved as a compatibility view. Now, if I come to this particular slide here, now whatever the table you are accessing, whichever the table you are going to be accessing, which table is no more available, now the select statement, what it will go, it will redirect to the compatibility view. What is the compatibility view? Now the data, the table is available. The table is available, but you cannot access to the table. You can read the data. You can only read the data from this underlying table. The table is only going to read the data only. So from where it is going to read the data, the table will be reading the data from the underlying table. What are the underlying tables? If I click on table and the joint conditions over here, that this particular table, which is no more available, but I can read the data from the underlying table called as a BKPF, and another one is called as a BSEC table. You can see the logic here. Now, the select statement, what is happening? The select statement will go to this particular table. Now, this table is no more available. It is moved as a compatibility view table. And this compatibility view table, it will redirect. And this compatibility view table will read the data from where? Will read the data from the underlying table. What is the underlying tables here? There are two tables are there. One is going to be called as BKPF. Another one is called as a BSEC. Now, if I come to this, this particular table has to read the data for these two line items. Now, example I'm telling. Actually, it has to read this data from these two tables, or from this two line item. So what the query will do? First, the query, what it will do? It will go and hit this particular table. Now, this table is no more available in SAP S4HANA. Very good. Now, this table is no more available in SAP S4HANA, but it is accessing to this particular table. Now, what the query will do? Automatically, it will go to redirect. Now, sir, somebody has been unmuted your call, so there is some disturbance from background. Please, if I request everybody to get muted in the call, please. It should not be disturbed for other people. Still, I have the same problem. Yeah, please, thank you. So now this is my select statement. The select statement, very, very important, my dear friends. So what it is happening, the select statement, first it will go and read this particular table. Okay, so I'm writing a select. Okay, select statement. Now this table is no more available, but I have written the GL balance report logic based on this particular table. Now what the select statement will do, it will automatically redirect its statement. It will automatically redirect. It will automatically get redirected. And for which table it is getting redirected, it will get redirecting to the compatibility view table. How this compatibility view table look like? Okay, so I'm writing here this compatibility view table, very, very important. Compatibility view table. So BSIS is the original table. How this compatibility view table look like? The compatibility of SAP FI compatibility view table look like this. V means compatibility view. V underscore BSIS is the compatibility view table. Means only you can read the data from this table. The table will read the data only. The table, this is the view table. The original structure of the table is no more available. The table has been moved as a compatibility view. And from where it is going to read the data will be read from this underlying table. What is the underlying table here? Now the underlying table is going to be called as the BSIC and BKPF. Now it is reading the data from these two tables now. Which one? The compatibility view table now. Now, whatever the report which you are going to be extracting, which is dependent on this particular BSIS table, will read the data from these two tables. Now, how? Based on reading the data. So what is the reach? Now it is going to read the data. Very, very important. Reach from where? From BSIS and BKPF. So these two tables. From these two tables. One is BKPF and another one is BSIC. Another one is BSIC. Now from these two tables, it is going to read the data. Now what is happening? This is called as a non-destructiveness process. Now, when I come to the logic in SAP, now you can see here, now BKPF and the BSIC. This table is going to read the data. Now how? Now, if I double click on this DDL SQL source, in the backend, what is how the source is going to be triggered? What is the program which is activating this DDL SQL view? Now, if I double click on it, now here, this is what exactly the view. So in the backend, no need to get into the details of this. I'm just explaining about the concept of how the view tables are going to be working in SAP S/4HANA. Now, if you see here, this is the view called as the BSIS underscore view as select. Now you can see here, the select statement, it will go into this particular fields and it will read the data. From where it is going to read the data, this information is going to be read from this particular underlying database table. One is the BKPF, another one is going to be calling it as a BSIC. Now, the original table is no more available, but in the back end, the system is going to create a backup table. If something goes wrong, if the table is not properly converted as a compatibility view, and understand that the table is not compatibility view, if something went wrong. So we have the backup table called as BSIS underscore BCK. BSIS underscore BCK is the backup table for the BSIS table. Very, 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 very important. Now, Mahesh, till here it is very clear. Now, in SAP S/4HANA, there are a lot of programs and a lot of transactions are there in SAP S/4HANA where the system is going to trigger this BSIS table. Very, very important. Very, very important. Now, can you show me which are all the reports, which are all the programs, or which are all the interfaces, you call them as an enhancement, where this table is going to be triggered as a BSIS table? So what I will do here, just come over here, go to the utilities, and here we have a concept called as where user list. we have a concept called as where use it. This particular table, wherever, in which are all the areas, which are all the programs, which are all the report, this particular table is going to be triggered. I want to see the list of them. Now, if we click on the where use the list, if we click on here, now you can select everything. Now you can see there are programs are there are classes are there are interfaces are there, web diagram pro components are there. You can see those the database tables are there. You can see so many things. So I want to select everything. So just select here. This is the selection option. I'm selecting everything and I'm pressing enter. So where use the list include the fields of the table? Yes. Now you can see here, this table is getting used in various tables, and you can see this table is used in the structures. Various structures are there. These are going to be called as the structures, and this table is going to be used in various functional modules, which are going to be called as bodies. Okay, BAPIs and bodies. Okay, we have the bodies. So you can see here, this table is getting used in various sources. Means this particular BSIS underscore, okay, V, which is going to be called as the compatibility view table you are going to be calling. So this is getting used in the structures. These are the programs, these are the functional modules, and these are the tables, these are the search items. So you can see in various programs, this is going to be used here. So if you want to have the complete list, you can click on the complete list. You can see everything over here. Now you can see the dictionary. Okay, BSIS table is going to be used in this particular table. BSIS table is going to be used in this particular. So you can see the table structure is going to be used in this structure. I can see everything. So it's not only for one logical report you're talking. It's not only for one logical report here you're talking, which is called as a GL balance report. No, it is the table. This is what exactly the table. It is getting used in many programs and many data structures you can see over here. So I should not completely delete this. So I should not tell to the SAP that this table is no more available in SAP, so that I cannot have any. So you are telling to the SAP that structure, the content, the technical settings of the tables are no more available, but the table has to read the data in a form of compatibility view from the underlying database table. This is called as simplification of the core data with the simplification of the data model. Now go back one step and see here. Go back and just execute. Now here, if I'm trying to see here, this is what exactly the table. Now the table is reading the data from where? The table is going to read the data from the joint condition, that is from the BKPF and the BSEC. Now, what I'm telling here, there is a one table which is called as a BSEC table. This BSEC table is live in our SAP S4HANA, and it is also live in your SAP ECC also. This table has not been removed, just like a BSIS table, like an index and aggregate table. This is the line item level table. Still in SAP S4HANA also, we have this table. Now, if I go back, if I give the BSEC table, if I give the BSEC table, now you can see the difference here. Now this table is available. See here. Now this table is much more available, which is going to be calling it as a transparent table. This is not a DDL SQL view table. You can see this is not a DDL SQL view. I can see there are technical settings are there in this particular table. All the technical settings are there. I can see this is going to be stored in the columnar storage. Means this table is live in our SAP S4. This is not a view table. This is a live line item level table in SAP S4HANA. Now see the difference between these two tables. So first I'll come to the BSIS. Click on display. Just click on the display. Now I'm coming to the technical settings. Now see here, this is the view table now. This is the view table, okay? Now I'll come to the technical settings. Set technical settings of this particular table. Now that what is the information which is telling me? BIS table does not have any technical settings. Means this table is no more available. I'll just same thing. I will go and display in my. I'm displaying the same table in the EPX. EPX is nothing but your ECC system. Now I'm clicking on display. Now here, if I go to the technical settings, same technical settings, or you here, either you can click on here also, nothing. Okay, so if I go to the technical settings now, very very important, the technical settings are available in ECC system. Means this table is active in your ECC system. Now you can see here DB specific property. This table is going to be stored in a columnar storage. But when I come and see the same table in SAP S4HANA, the BSIS table is don't have any technical setting. Do you want to define the settings? Means this is a view table. If I click on yes, and if I click on the DB specific properties, now you can see this is the undefined table. Neither it is a columnar storage, neither it is a row based. It is called as an undefined table over here in SAP S4HANA. Now, if I give the BSEC table, now if I give the BSEC table and click on the display, now if I go to the same technical settings, now if I click on the DB specific properties, this table is available as a columnar storage. See the difference over here now. So that is what exactly now the SAP, the core data, core is nothing but your application. Core is nothing but your application. So now the core data, the simplification has been done at the core level, that is at your application level, that they have removed all the indexes and the aggregates, and the simplification has also done at the database level also, my dear friends. From the database level also, when you call it as a simplification as a data model, now what is going to be happening? Now the system is accessing only these particular two tables as the underlying. No other tables are available. So when you go into the database, now there are no indexes and aggregate tables from the database point of view. Now the logic is working based on the compatibility view. So this is what exactly we call it as a simplification of the core data, which is called as at the application level. And the simplification at the data model level. Data model is nothing but your DB. DB is nothing but your database. Now, you can ask me a question here, Mahesh. Now tell me what are all the tables. So I have been new to this SAP S4HANA world. I'm very good in SAP ECC. I have done many implementations in SAP ECC. I know what are all the tables which are going to be accessing. Okay, now can you show me the list of the tables from the all the modules from the respective, from the financial subcomponent wise? Can you please show me the list of all the things which I can know these are the tables are not available in SAP S4HANA, and where I can see these tables have been moved as a compatibility view. For that, you have to download the SAP simplification list. We call it as a simplification list. Very, very important, my dear friends. So if you open the simplification list, you will get all the required tables and the data which is no more available in SAP S4HANA. Now let me 1 second. 1 second. Just be in the line 1 second, please. I already shown you everything. Okay, how the simplification list is going to look like. Okay, so you can also access from the SAP portal directly. Now, example I'm showing, this is the simplification list of 1809. You can also download the 1909 also. Okay, so if I come here, this is the simplification list. So every consultant has to be aware about this. It's a Bible for us. I'm telling it's a Bible for us. So you have to be known about all these simplifications before you put into any project. Now, when I come to the financial accounting, now when I've come to, when I've been here in the financial accounting, now when I'm clicking, so now the simplifications are not only happened from the financial point of view, the simplifications have happened in various other models like commodity management, commodity project management. You can see the simplifications have been happened from the master data level. So you can see a lot of simplifications, means the various processes have been simplified in a way, the various complex processes have been simplified into very simple and granular level. So that is what exactly we can see in the simplification list. Now, when I click on the financial general data, now here it is very clearly explaining. There is a note is also there. What is the impact on the business? If you open this note, you can come to know what are the impacts are there. But the note is same thing. The note I have been elaborated over here. You can see here. You are doing a system conversion to SAP S4HANA on-premise edition. The following SAP transaction worklist is applicable in this case. Now it is what it is telling here. Now, The universal journal entry table. Now the new table has come into the SAP S/4HANA. We call it as the universal journal entry table. Very, very important. Very, very important. So now this universal journal entry table, we call it as the ACDOCA table. So let me put out here like this. Let me put out here like this. Now there is a new table has come, which is called as the line item level table. The table name, we call it as ACDOCA table. ACDOCA table means accounting. AC stands for accounting document actuals. Accounting document actuals, because in SAP we see different types of data. We see the planning data, we see the actual data, we see the commitment data, we see the target data. So different types of data are available, which are going to be stored in their respective tables. But this table has designs, which is one of the point in the simplification, which has been designed only for the simplifications of actuals. No other data can be stored in this particular table. Means this table contains the data of GL. Very, very important. What are all the components data which is available? This table contains the component of GL. Very, very important. GL is nothing but general ledger. General ledger. This table contains the data of asset accounting. We call it as the asset accounting. Okay, fixed asset accounting. We call it as a fixed asset accounting. Asset accounting. And this table contains the fields of the data of controlling. Controlling is going to be calling it as a management accounting. Now we call it as a management accounting. Controlling. Controlling is a module we are going to be using for the cost accounting purpose actually. And this table contains the data of, very, very important. These all are going to be very, very important. Contains the COPA. COPA is nothing but controlling profitability analysis. COPA. COPA. COPA is nothing but controlling. PA stands for profitability analysis. And final but not the least, this table contains the data of material ledger for actual costing of the material. So for the material ledger, to know about your cost of the materials. Okay, material ledger. So if I open this ACDOCA table, the table, okay, so only one document is going to be triggered to this particular table. If you're posting the general ledgers, the actuals will go into the same table. If I post any asset related transaction, the transactions will go into the same table. Like this, all these component actuals, now the story is going to be designed in this particular table called as ACDOCA. This table we call in SAP terminology, we call it as universal journal entry table. We call it as universal, means all the world is going to put in this one table. Now everything is going to put in this one table. Earlier, if you go back to very easy seeing, earlier there are different separate set of tables are designed for general ledger, separate set of tables are designed for the asset accounting. Like this, we have different set of data models are there for each and every component. Now in SAP S/4HANA, those all the indexes and aggregate tables have been removed. Now you have only one table from today onwards, which is going to be calling it as ACDOCA table. Now you can put me a question, what happened to other data? I'll tell you, I'll come one by point to point over here. Now the simplification list here, it is telling that the universal journal significance changes the way of the transactional data is stored for the financial reporting. Now, just now I told that, okay? It offers a huge benefits in the items of the ability to harmonize. Earlier, the data was unharmonized. Unharmonized means, so if I want to get the data of the general ledger means I need to look out only the tables of the general ledger. If I look out for the asset accounting, I have to look for the asset accounting. Now, if I want the combination of the data between the general ledger and the asset accounting, I want the data, I want a report to be developed. Then I need to form a report based on the general ledger tables and the asset accounting tables. Now, from today onwards, this kind of unharmonization of the data is not required. because everything you will get from the same single table. Even if you want the general ledger data, I will give from this table. If you want the asset accounting data, I will give from this table. If you want the controlling data, I will give from this table. So it is completely harmonized in one table, which is called as universal general entry table now from today onwards. Internal and for the external reporting. What do you mean by internal and what do you mean by external? Internal reports are normally we will use for the management decision making purpose. For example, if I come to the controlling is only for the internal reporting purpose only. Internal means only for the management decision making, for the management reporting. What is the cost which has been incurred during a manufacturing of a product? What are all the costs which have been incurred for the machine repairs? What are all the costs which has been incurred for this so and so stationery? So these all the cost and what is the total variances between the actual and the planned cost. So I want this report. So these all the reports, whatever the data you are talking, this is for only for internal reporting, not for any kind of P&L account and balance sheet. You are not going to display this all the data into the P&L account and balance sheet. The P&L account and balance sheet is only required the profit and loss, P and L, and another one is going to be calling it as a balance sheet. We call it as a balance sheet report. So this P&L account and balance sheet normally we will use for external reporting purpose. This is what exactly we call it as external. This is we call it as external reporting purpose. So this external reporting purpose is mainly for the P&L account and balance sheet. So you are going to display your P&L account and balance sheet for your stock, your stakeholders, your customers, and everything. Whereas internal reporting is only for the management decision making. So for example, all the planning data. Okay, everything you can see the target data, you can see the commitment. So something like the cost, wherever the cost is going to be incurred. I want to have this internal reporting. This internal reporting is only for the management reporting. This is what exactly I call it as internal. So where you get the internal reporting normally I will use the controlling module. Internal reporting, where you can see the data here. Now you can see the where exactly here. Now this controlling, COPA and the material ledger, this all the three will be used only for internal reporting purpose. And whereas your general ledger and your asset accounting, you are going to be using for external reporting purpose. External means P&L account and balance sheet. Internal reporting is only just I'll write here, which is for the management accounting. That is for the decision making. For the management accounting. So GL and the asset accounting is mainly useful for external, and the remaining all the three controlling, COPA and material ledger, you are going to be displaying the actuals, which is mainly useful for management decision making. So earlier, this is what exactly we have designed in a separate format. Now I'm going to be designing for your both external and internal. You will get all the data from your ACDOCA table. So if I come and see here, this is what exactly harmonized internal and external reporting by having both means internal and external. Read from the same document which stores where the accounting is unifying element, because you'll get all the data. You still create a general ledger entries in the GL accounting, acquire the retire asset, everything, run the allocation settlement structures and everything. So whatever the settlements you're going to do, whatever the allocation structures you can run from the same table. This is what exactly. Now, if I come here, the total record that's stored, very, very important. This point is very, very important now. Total records that store the data in the general ledger, controlling, material ledger, asset accounting, accounts payable and accounts receivable by the period have been removed as an index tables and that are designed to optimize the certain selection criteria. Now earlier we have these indexes and aggregates. Now these are the total tables and indexes are no more available. So now they have been removed. So period wise they have been removed as an index table that are designed to optimize. This simplifies the data structure and makes accounting more flexible in the long term. So this is what exactly. So if I see here, this is what exactly. Now what I'm telling here, now the simplification of the data model. So the simplification is also clearly telling that this simplifies the data structures. Now I'm simplifying all the tables into one table, my dear friends. So now where are the thousands of the tables which I'm working earlier? Now where is only one table which I'm working today in this SAP S/4HANA environment? Now you can see the difference, how the simplifications have been happened. It's not It's not for 1 year. See, it has not started yesterday and it has not finished today. It is very long term actually. If you go back, so 2015, if you go back from 2010 itself only, the SAP has started this innovation to do more and more and more and more and simplifications. Now we are in 1909. So tomorrow we'll come to 21, and the next year 2020 there will be one more on-premise release is going to be required. That is 21, and in the 21 and still we can see more simplifications. In the 21 one and we can see further more simplification. So system, what the SAP is telling here is the simplifications is not stoppable for the 19 and still the business is running. Still the innovations are going to be running with the more and more and more and simplification. So finally, I'm telling now, so the end user job, specifically when you come to the end user job, his job is going to be very, 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 very easy for them during the month end closing activities. So finally, now if you see here, who are the end users who are working in SAP ECC? I understand their pain. End users means who are working in the company as a part of end users. So when the month end closing activities comes, like before 25th, after 25th to 30th of every month, I understand that pain, how many tables, how many reports they had to work on to get the data and to close the reports. I understand now, but now those end users, if I train them in SAP S4HANA and if I tell the benefits of SAP S4HANA, if I ask them to put as an end user in the company, now 100% I'm telling that they are going to be the happiest person in the world. Why? Because their job has been reduced to 2 to 3, 4 hours now. They can also do the month-end closing activity before the 30th of every month. 1 day is enough for them. Where is before? Before that, they had to work starting from 24th of every month. Now from today, because I already simplified, nothing to be required. You just get all the data from your AC DOCA table. So 1 to 2 hours is going to be required for them to close all the month-end closing activity, and comfortably they can go and sleep. This is the beauty of the SAP now, which is going to be making the availability over here. So structures are going to be simplified now. Structures are going to be simplified. All the data now you can see it has been moved as a SQL view now, which is called as the compatibility view now. Just now I shown the example of BSIS, which is called as the compatibility view table now, which is going to be called. So this compatibility view tables is going to work as a select statement, work as before. So this is called as a non-disruptiveness process, just now. So your select statement is not going to be disturbed, my dear friends, even though these tables are no more available, but my select statement will automatically will redirect and read the data from your underlying database table using the compatibility view. Don't misunderstand that if these tables are no more available, so I need to design the same program in SAP S4HANA. No, nothing to design. The same program, whatever the program you have designed for any reports, the same program I can execute in SAP S4HANA, but it will be go and redirect and it will read the data. That's all. But earlier the select statement directly reading the data from the underlying database tables. Now just I'm putting a comment called as redirect. That's all. Everything, your logic is going to work as it is without any data discrepancy. Without any data discrepancy, you can see. So means, however, these particular tables, which we call it the compatibility view tables, the tables which are no more available in SAP S4HANA, work as before. However, right axis means I'm not going to give any kind of right axis. If you are going to see something in the table, you can see the table, but you cannot write. Means you cannot insert any new one, you cannot update, you cannot delete, or you cannot modify the data in the tables, because these are going to be called as uncovered tables. We can call them as a uncovered tables. These are not the columnar storage. These are not going to be called as row based storage. These are going to be called as uncovered tables, where you cannot write anything in these tables. Only the database tables are viewed on the part of database approach was removed. Means you cannot write anything over this table. Means you cannot insert, update, modify, or anything you can delete on the database. So however, they have been removed from the custom code SAP. This note will tell you this. If you open this note, it will tell you about the process, about why this table has been removed and what are all the things that are going to be. This is the note which is very, very important. So every process has been given with a note over here. So no need to get panic. So all the things are very simplified. Now you can see that these are the tables. So might be I just put a question, what are all the tables which are no more available in SAP S/4HANA earlier, which I'm working in SAP ECC. Now you can see these are the list of the tables which are not available and they have been removed and they have been made in the compatibility. You can see this is the compatibility view table. Original table is BSAD and this is the backup table. You can see all the tables. You can see these all the tables are no more available. Now you can see these all the tables are no more available, which are going to be calling it as a compatibility. If you come down, still we have so many tables here. Still we have so many tables. You can see these are all the tables, so only one thing is nothing but based on the practice you will come to understand what all the tables. So if you see here, I can understand, oh my god, these are the tables are no more available. But the next class when I come and ask you, okay, you might be just confusing whether this table is available or not available, but it will be a little bit of confusion for me. So not to worry. So based on the practice, you can remember all these tables which are not available, which are available in SAP. So how many tables see here? How much data has been simplified here? A lot of data has been simplified. This is called as a complete simplified data core and simplified data model. Any doubts?
So Mahesh, technically all the tables are not available. Only the universal table is the one that is available, right?
See, here when I come, when you put a question like all the tables are not available, only the universal general entry table is available. The statement I can tell it is a little bit of contradictory. So I can tell that not all the tables, only the index and aggregate tables have been removed.
Okay.
Like for example, if you see
tables are there.
Yeah. Now, for example, if you see the BSEC table, I told that BSEC table. BSEC is the original line item level table in SAP ECC also. Now, the same table is also available as the line item. Part C. So there is a one, everybody is getting a doubt. So now you're telling that BSEC table is available. The BSEC table is available, and at the same time, BSEC table earlier we called it as the line item level table. Now today you're telling that new table has come called as the ACDO CA table. This is also a line item level table. Here, there is a point which is making me a contradictory. What does that mean? That why the BSEC is still required if the AC DOCA table is there? Why the BSEC table is still it is required? So some tables are there. There are some specific reasons are there why these tables are still remained in SAP S/4HANA. So in the coming classes, I'm going to discuss all those things.
Okay, and when can you show like more actual, on the SAP like work front?
Tomorrow starting. We are starting with tomorrow.
Okay. And can you also share this 1809 document that you have and 1909 if you already have them?
Yeah, I'll share it. Okay, so I think already you got the PPTs now by this time.
Yeah, we got one of the demo SAP S/4HANA PPT.
Yeah, okay, right. You got the PPT. Now tomorrow I'll just download this 1909 and I'll share the simplification list to all of you.
Okay.
Mahesh, one question. If what tables do we need to remember? Like say if you're working for last 5 years in SAP, what tables do I need to remember? If I'm
okay, okay, that's what I'm telling. So these tables. So if you want to compare between SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA, sir, your question basically.
Yeah, basically, say if I'm saying that I've been working at SAP 5 years, what do I need to remember in terms of tables?
Okay. So just what I told here. Okay. So anyhow, we are going to discuss everything in the practicals. Okay. So I'm going to show. But whenever you get some time, whenever in these 2 days, whatever maybe, just go through the simplification. I'll attach the simplification list now itself. Only 1 second. Just go through the simplification list. Now I'll attach here in the assignment and case studies. Or in the discussion board, I will attach. Okay. So I'm writing here simplification list. So just go through simplification list. So now you can understand which are the tables are no more available. So I have to remember simply.
And with S/4HANA, there's only one table is available now. Like is that?
No, there are some other planning data tables are available. So for the GL, only one table. For the asset accounting, there are 3 tables are there. One is for the plan data, one is for the actual data, third one is for the statistical data. Only 3 tables. Earlier we have multiple tables for. If I go to this PPT here, Now, if you see, this is the earlier asset accounting. Already, if you open this PPT slide, already I have given this PPT. The PPT is available, sir. So if you go to the slide number, if you go to the slide number from here, from the slide number from the 34, you can see what are the tables which are available and which tables has to remember and which tables are no more available. And earlier, how the data architecture is designed for the asset accounting. Now, how this data structure architect is designed for now. So earlier we have these many tables. Now in SAP S4HANA, we have only these 3 tables. Like this, you can see this is the controlling, how the controlling. So if you open this, you will become to know about all this earlier and today you can easily compare. But tomorrow we are discussing the same point here. Tomorrow we are here. Tomorrow I'm discussing about the I have given only the introduction about the AC Docker table, but how that technically this AC Docker is going to work, tomorrow we are going to discuss it.
Okay, thank you. And just one thing, how is there a strategy to remember all these table names? Like, because
So,
if you haven't worked in
I understand that. Okay, so only the based on the practicals only, sir. The ones you do
only the
practical.
practical.
So we cannot remember. We cannot remember by putting ourselves into this. Okay, so based on the practicals only, we can get it.
Okay. All right, thanks.
But don't worry, sir. But I'll make sure that you are by the end of the class, by end of the session, okay, you are going to be on the top. Don't worry, everybody is going to be on the top. But only one thing, just you have to follow my guidelines to know about all these things. So you have to follow the guideline. That's all. Okay. So the remaining everything I'll take care from my side. I'm telling from the starting. Okay. So that is what exactly I'll attach that. Okay. So I have so many materials over here.
And also, Mahesh, if somebody is new, they are not having a SAP background, but an accounting background, what are like the things they need to remember? Because obviously they need to prepare more than somebody who's already in SAP, even though they are in ECC in the past, right? So can you put like some more light or guidance for those folks?
See, the basics are going to be very, very important actually. So one thing I can tell that the understanding about the basic accounting knowledge. So I'm not telling that, okay, you have to work in SAP and you should have been worked as an auditor, something like that. I cannot tell like that, but at least to know about this concept of SAP S4HANA or SAP ECC, FICO, the basics are going to be required. Like what is the P&L account and balance sheet? Okay. What comes under P&L? What are the accounting principles? What is the debit? What is the credit? So the basic, if you understand the basic, then it is going to be very easy for you. Then if we are not aware about these processes, something like the basic accounting knowledge, then this will be difficult. I mean, you have to do a lot much of hard work in knowing about all these things. So
No, that I get it. Like I'm from hardcore accounting background. I just
then okay, then okay.
exposure.
Then there is not required for so just follow. Okay, that's what I'm telling. So if that is the case, then not required anything. The ECC knowledge is not going to be required directly. You can learn the SAP S4HANA from the finance point of view. I'll make sure that you are going to be on the top.
Okay. Yeah, if there are like pointers or something that we need to put more.
No, I tell you. Each and every class I'll tell you about what are the points which has to be noted.
Okay. Thank you.
Just remind me. So something like that. If I forgotten, just remind me. I'll help regarding that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, because all this BSEG and whatever I forget.
No. That you will come to. That I'll make it very easy. That I'll make it as a very easy. Now, how I'm telling the classes. Are you satisfied about my classes, everybody? How are my classes now? Are you seeing some differences when you go? So most of the people might have gone through the YouTube site. They search a lot many videos. I never compare about the YouTube videos. So how you can see the difference between those and my class? So is it going to be something important you are observing in my classes? The same thing.
What I think you should do, Mahesh, just slow down. You're too fast. Slow down.
Definitely, I'm trying, sir. I'm trying. Definitely. Slow things will come. Definitely. I understand that.
Especially when you come to those short words like BSEG or BSIS, like maybe for you it's like you breathe in out like daily, but for somebody that's not from an accounting background, it's like from SAP, they're like, okay, what is this
Understand.
exactly?
Correct. Correct.
So if you also specify the full form, that would be great.
No. I'll see one thing. You don't worry about the classes and the content about the things what I'm going to be explaining. You just worry about your things. How much hours you're taking for the practice and how your understanding levels and what questions you're putting to me. That's all. Remaining everything, I'll put a 99% efforts on all of you. Just I require only 1% in making yourself to understand and doing the practice. That's all.
Right. And also the Google Drive, can you just show what materials are we supposed to look at in the Google
No.
Drive?
Till now, the materials have not been attached. Till now, the materials that they're going to. I'm going to take you through the walk of this particular block. Okay, in the next class. Okay. Now today it is not going to be required. So because we don't have any materials in the material tabs as of now. So once I get them, once I will get all the materials, you will come to know it. I'll explain the particular. Now, it's not going to be required for next 2 days.
Okay. No, what
I
I'm
think we have the
asking is
material.
Google
They
Drive,
provide the
there is some materials that
Okay,
like
just
that.
remind me tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow. I'll explain, madam. Okay, don't worry. Remind me tomorrow. Okay, because I had to start the next class. Students are waiting for
Okay,
me.
sure.
Okay, yeah, remind me. Okay, thank you very much, all of you.